Thanks. Pitt says, good day, gents. Thanks for this forum to ask real questions and get actionable answers. I have a client who went to Fiverr and bought a syndication network. And then worked with another marketer and bought a different network. Many duplicates, all branded. What should I do to fix that? Well, do you have access to those accounts is my point. Like if he bought these syndication networks and such from two different vendors, essentially, he probably has a login sheet, right? Similar to, we invented it, or, so I'm sure that the copycatters also provide a spreadsheet with all the accounts, the URLs, and the login data. What I would do is go in and I would log into the one that is the most closely branded to his brand name. You can't have duplicates, right? You can't have duplicate subdomains on WordPress or Blogger or Tumblr or any of the other sites for that matter. So there has to be some sort of variation in the profile or the usernames, right? So I would take the one that is the most closely aligned with the actual brand and use that. I would go in and update it. And then obviously go through and some SM style it, semantic mastery style the syndication network. That's number one. Number two, for the other one that's out there that's also similarly branded, I don't necessarily would say terminate those accounts, but I would make sure that you're not syndicating to them anymore. In fact, if you have duplicate posts, and I'm not talking about duplicate content, guys, because that doesn't happen on syndication networks. But if you have the same post posted on multiple semi-branded networks, then I recommend removing that content, specifically because you don't want to create a footprint with a blog syndication network or a syndication network where you're syndicating website content. You can do it; it's fine with YouTube, but with a blog, no. Or with money site content, I don't recommend that. So, but that doesn't mean you have to like go in and actually terminate those accounts, but I would manually go in and delete the existing content and maybe just put up some kind of shitty content that might link to the other Web 2.0 profiles. Just like one post on each one of the syndication network properties from the network that you're not going to use, right? Remove the IFTTT triggers, remove any content that's been posted to both syndication networks, and then might just put some kind of short little article that's relevant on each one of those other properties and maybe point to the profile URL on the one that you're going to keep, right? The network properties that you're going to keep. That's something I would do. And I would just leave it alone after that and just continually update for the new or the syndication network that you decided to keep. If they're both done very poorly and you don't want to go through, which I don't blame you if you don't want to go through and actually update everything manually, then I would get access to all the accounts that you can, go in and do what I just said to both sets of networks and buy a well-done semantic mastery style network from MGYB, right? And then maybe use those two other existing networks as a YouTube network, or, it could be possibly used for maybe a separate Twitter network or something like that. Or you could do what I just said and just use them as kind of like a one-time link builder to your new network properties, if that makes sense. But I wouldn't link directly back to the money site with those. Does that make sense? That's what I would do. Because again, I totally understand. And by the way, if this guy bought his own syndication network at Fiverr, then he worked with another marketer, he's probably one of those guys that's going to micromanage you, Fitz, just so you're aware of that. If you have a business owner or a client that has tried to do their own SEO work and they've also hired somebody else to do something that they already attempted on their own, they're probably going to micromanage you as well. Just keep that in mind.